The March 2025 VR Game Showcase has just wrapped up, and a ton of new games were announced. In this video we will go through them all together. The VR Game Showcase is produced by VR communication veterans like Feltham and Zeena. During this event we saw some familiar titles from the past, but there were also new announcements, especially from the Flat to VR team, in which we have placed a lot of hope for the future. If you are ready, let's dive in. Triangle Factory has announced Forefront, a new multiplayer first-person shooter in VR set in the near future of 2035. The game features large-scale battles with up to 32 players on land, sea, and in the air, supported by a dynamic destruction system. Its storyline revolves around the struggle for red orpiment, a rare resource capable of generating nearly infinite clean energy, leading to conflicts between ORE mercenaries and local armies and governments vying to control it. Triangle Factory, already known for breaches and hyperdash, promises an unprecedented level of quality and engagement. The game is available for pre-order and will arrive in early access at the end of 2025 on Meta, SteamVR and Pico. Playtests will be announced on Triangle Factory's social channels, so keep an eye out. IO Interactive showed a new trailer for Hitman World of Assassination on PlayStation VR2, highlighting the game's advanced VR mechanics ahead of its official release on March 27th. This edition brings together the best content from Hitman 1, 2 and 3 with 22 unique locations and unprecedented immersion thanks to VR-specific features. Players will physically interact with the environment, perform stealth actions with greater realism, and use an arsenal of more than 100 weapons that support PSVR2's adaptive triggers. The VR upgrade for those who already own Hitman World of Assassination on PS5 will cost $9, while new players can purchase Hitman around $40. Alta, known for A Township Tale, announced Reave, a cooperative dungeon crawler. It was shown with an official logo and early alpha gameplay footage, and a dedicated Discord channel has been opened for those interested in trying out future play sessions. Reave will be available for Roboquest and PCVR. Alta's previous title, A Township Tale, was well received, earning an average rating of 4 out of 5 stars, so there are plenty of expectations even though there's still more work to be done. Fireproof Games, famous for the Room series, revealed more about Ghost Town, a new VR puzzle adventure that was previously announced but now shown in greater detail. Set in London in 1983, it follows Edith Penrose, a ghost hunter searching for her missing brother. Players will use VR's unique physicality to explore settings, solve tactile puzzles, and interact with characters both living and dead. Ghost Town will be available on MetaQuest, PSVR2 and PCVR starting in early summer 2025. Since it comes from the creators of the Room VR, expectations are quite high. Patient 8 Games, known for the Return to Rapture mod for Half-Life Alyx, introduced Memoreum, a horror sci-fi VR title that was first revealed last summer and will release in September 2025 on MetaQuest, with future versions for Steam VR and PlayStation VR2. Set in the year 2311, it takes players aboard the colonial ship UCT Century Dawn, launched to save humanity but now consumed by horror. As Dr. Otto Hudson, you must face the ichor infection that has turned the crew into monstrous beings, wield unique weapons, and survive a psychologically intense story. The price hasn't been announced yet, but the game is already listed for wishlisting on the Meta Store and will appear on Steam as well. It's published by 2080 Games, founded by Mike from Virtual Reality Oasis, who has consistently shown solid knowledge of VR games, which gives hope that Memoreum will be guided toward a proper, high-quality direction. Trebuchet revealed that Prison Boss Prohibition, the sequel to the popular Prison Boss VR, will support mixed reality mode on MetaQuest devices. This feature lets players integrate the game environment into the real world for an even more immersive experience. Players are transported to New York City, a metropolis where the mayor has imposed strict prohibitions. The player's goal is to manage shops that produce and sell both legal and illegal goods, earning money and climbing the ranks of the black market. Alongside a single-player mode, the game offers a cooperative mode that allows collaboration with friends or other online players to expand the underground empire. No official release date has been announced, but it's expected to launch on MetaQuest, PSVR2 and PCVR. Triangle Factory also released a free update for breachers, adding the clone projector gadget. This device lets players create an illusion of themselves to confuse opponents during intense tactical operations. If you're not familiar with breachers, it's a multiplayer PvP FPS often compared to Rainbow Six Siege in virtual reality. Hidden.io introduced Zeeks, a cooperative VR roguelite action game for up to 3 players. It features the First Instinct system, which uses simple gestures to perform various actions like dashing, jumping, and wielding different weapons. Players can directly influence world generation through an element combination system, changing enemies, environments, and even gravity for a truly unique run each time. Zix also supports an active spectator mode, allowing non-VR PC players to join sessions and choose whether to help or hinder the VR players. Zix is set to launch in 2025 for MetaQuest and PCVR. Meatspace Interactive, in collaboration with Endreams, announced that Vendetta Forever will release on PCVR on May 8, 2025. The game, already available on MetaQuest and PSVR2, will receive a free update that adds new levels to all platforms, including a new stage called Breach and a random scene feature for replays. Support for bihaptic suits has been added for greater immersion. One Hamsa, the studio known for Racket Next, confirmed that its sci-fi urban brawler Underdogs will come to PlayStation VR2 in the first quarter of 2025. The game is already available on MetaQuest, Steam, and Pico. Players control customizable mechs in physics-based melee combat set in a 22nd century underground world. The graphics draw inspiration from comic books, delivering a distinctive visual style. With over 140 weapons and upgrades, everyone can tailor their mech for a personalized combat approach. The PSVR2 version aims to enhance the immersive mech fighting experience by leveraging Sony's VR capabilities. Slender, The Arrival VR, an official adaptation of the Slender Man franchise, has been delayed until 2025. It was initially slated for 2024, but Blue Isle Studios decided on the postponement to ensure the game meets high standards in virtual reality. It will be available on MetaQuest, PSVR2, and PCVR, though a precise release date hasn't been provided. Players will immerse themselves more deeply than ever in the unsettling world of Slender: The Arrival, a title that has always thrived on tension and horror. Polarity One, in collaboration with VRAL Games, presented Exoshock, a VR shooter designed for up to 4-player co-op. Drawing inspiration from games like Helldivers 2 and Warhammer 40k, it blends tactical depth, relentless action, and high replay value on ever-evolving battlefields. Teams face AI-controlled foes, employing realistic tactics, forcing players to adapt to unpredictable situations in every mission. Exoshock will be available on MetaQuest and PCVR. It will also be at GDC 2025, where attendees can try it out in advance and meet the development team. Wind Up Minds announced Stay Forever Home, a virtual pet app coming to MetaQuest in April 2025. In it, players meet Ember, a magical pet that responds to care and attention in surprising ways. Cozy Cube Games, founded by a former Alchemy Labs developer, revealed Penguin Festival, a cozy VR adventure where players become a penguin organizing a festival. It aims to deliver a relaxing experience, though the release date hasn't been shared yet. Cytec Games, known for the Winland series, unveiled Titan Isles, a new co-op game in development for MetaQuest and PCVR. This marks the studio's first new IP in over 7 years, promising a vibrant co-op adventure. Deep Cuts is a new action-adventure VR title from Scythe dev team, published by TinyBuild, offering gameplay that combines advanced physics mechanics, cinematic environments, and a strong narrative. Players step into the role of Elise Weber, co-founder of the Lights Camera Faction film studio, exploring movie sets inspired by 80s horror, 70s space thrillers, and spaghetti westerns. Each setting provides interactive objects and hidden secrets, as well as special powers for altering reality, solving puzzles, and overcoming obstacles. It's already available for MetaQuest at a price of $29. Flat 2 VR Studios was especially prominent, acting as publisher for several titles in which we had the highest expectations. Shadowgate VR: The Minds of Mythrok, developed by Zojoy and Azure Drop, brings the classic Shadowgate series into virtual reality, sending players into the depths of dwarven mountains filled with traps, monsters, and vast caverns. Armed with a magic wand and shield, they'll battle dungeon creatures, using wits and the help of the Raven Odin to interpret magical symbols, deactivate hidden traps, and decipher puzzles. Roboquest, developed by Rise Up Studios, is a fast-paced roguelite shooter about to make its VR debut, also thanks to Flat2VR. A new trailer shows off VR mechanics and cooperative gameplay with hordes of robotic enemies to fight in intense battles. It will arrive in fall 2025 on MetaQuest, PlayStation VR2 and PCVR. The developers stress that Roboquest VR is not just a port, but a total reimagining of the original for a fully immersive virtual reality experience. Modders can already run the flat version using UEVR injector on PCVR, but this official VR adaptation promises a polished result. Out of Sight, from developer The Gang and published by Starbreeze Entertainment, is a unique horror title where players control Sophie, a blind girl who perceives the world through her teddy bear's eyes. The game alternates between first and second person perspectives, immersing players in an eerie adventure filled with puzzles and suspense. Flat2VR Studios is working with The Gang to bring Out of Sight to VR on MetaQuest, PlayStation VR2 and PCVR, enhancing immersion in the Haunted Mansion's mysteries. This adaptation doesn't yet have a specific release date, but it promises a fresh, original experience for both traditional and VR players. Paradox Interactive, together with Bulwark Games and Flat2VR Studios, announced Surviving Mars Pioneer, a VR version of the popular strategy and simulation game. Players can personally experience building and managing a Mars colony, handling resources, infrastructure, and the welfare of colonists to ensure survival and prosperity. It will enter early access in 2025 on MetaQuest and PCVR, inviting players to provide feedback during development. Finally, Flat2VR Studios, in collaboration with Running with Scissors, confirmed a VR version of the controversial shooter Postal 2, bringing its chaotic world to modern virtual reality platforms. Players can immerse themselves in the outlandish days of the Postal dude, interacting with the environment and characters in new ways made possible by VR. The game will keep the humor, freedom of action, and extreme scenarios that made the 2003 original a cult classic. Updates will be shared via Flat2VR Studios and Running with Scissors.
That's all from this VR game showcase. A big thanks to Jamie and Zeena for their consistently awesome work. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing so you don't miss any future content. Let me know what you think in the comments and I'll see you in the next one.